Division 7 everybody, and we are on Alterac Pass. And obviously our usual spiel just before we're jumping into the game, but before we talk a bit about what Division 7 is, let's go over the teams and the compositions. We have the Face Palm Tacticians going up against the Shank Squad. And over on the left side with a little bit of a meme build. Black Milk on Abatha, Malice B, the little brother of Malice A, on Anubarak, Jack Sully on Murky, Alderon on Anduin, Bloody on Artanis. And on the right side, the Shank Squad with Vader on Johanna, Succubus on Deckard Kane, Joe on Junkrat, Chaos on ETC, and Death Grip on Jaina. So yeah, Division 7 is the lowest division of Heroes Launch, an amateur league in North America and Europe for Heroes of the Storm, where anyone can participate. If you guys want to check it out, you should head over to heroeslaunch.gg, have a look there. They have a fantastic FAQ and also a great Discord server community that will answer any questions you have. But Division 7 is the lowest one, so that means that players that play here are on average between bronze and gold. And that usually ends up with quite a lot of misplays, with a lot of horrible builds, just atrocious decision making in the game. And we are here to make fun of all of that. So it's going to hopefully be a fun series, but also with a bit of an element of you guys being able to learn something if you play in the lower leagues yourselves, just because we're going to point out what not to do and maybe how to improve those builds. And while all of this is said and done, also the quick note that the players are absolutely on board with this, as they're actually having their first blood in the game. Bloody goes down. Yeah, kind of fitting. Because, well, I get more casting requests from Division 7 these days than from any other league, to be absolutely honest with you. And every single one of the teams comes over and says like, hey, can you please just like check our replays, make a little bit of fun of it, tell us what to do better. So players are absolutely on board of it. So if you are someone who is prone to be offended on someone else's behalf, then this is probably not the series for you. And you should probably just piss off the general. But yeah, as we are already saying that, let's jump straight into this one. So, I mean, there is obviously a bit of a meme factor here. So on a higher level, you will never see a composition like that happening, but Murky together with Abatha can actually be an absolute pain in the butt. So Jack Sully over here will oftentimes get the symbiote from Abatha and then try to get some value in here. In terms of his build, we're actually seeing the egg hunt right now. So Murky's job pretty much is just to piss the opponent off as much as possible, and especially with an Abatha hat, he's usually able to do that quite reliably. We're having at the same time a Beetle build for Anubarak, which is actually something that we've seen just the other day in North America. Now that in and of itself is already a little bit meme-worthy, but normally when you're talking Anubarak, you will see very, well, completely different builds. Regeneration Blast on level 1 for the added 500 hit points later on in the game is quite nice. You can go into Carapace setup, but no matter what you do, Beetles are usually not the path that most teams will go. Now, there's a lot to talk about in this game in particular, but one of the things that I definitely want to highlight is that Anubarak in general has actually fallen off in the Euro meta quite significantly. That obviously doesn't necessarily apply for the lower regions where you will see a lot of comfort picks, but Anubarak is, at least on the higher level, very rarely played in Europe these days. Other tanks have taken that position over quite reliably. With that said, we're now also looking at a setup where this is obviously a very big map, so Abatha should be able to get a lot of side soak value. In this case, you can honestly see him at the side here. Eventually, Black Milk should move out onto the lane itself. Abatha can actually soak experience in multiple ways. Like the two most common ones is either with his symbiote being close by when minions die, or his body being close by when minions fall. But even if he gets the last hit in on any kind of minion, for example, if one of his locusts delivers the last shot, that gives him also experience on that one minion. Or if on the other hand, like a toxic nest destroys something. And at the same time, Locust, just the proximity of Locust does not give you experience, so that's why in this case we're now having Black Milk taking the position right here, so he can body soak while still helping out the rest of his team with the symbiote. And in the early game on a map like Alterac Pass, you need to make sure that your opponent doesn't get too much ahead of you, because they have the additional hit point pool thanks to the 5th hero that they run until Abatha finally has his copy there. But it looks like the first objective is going to fall into the hands of the Shank Squad quite quickly, without any problem whatsoever. And yep, that's indeed the case. They're grabbing it. ETC slides in again, maybe a little bit too aggressive, but Artanis helps him out. ETC was completely bloody blocked there, but Artanis said, you know what? Let me lend you a hand there. Turned around, swapped him out, and therefore an easy escape for ETC, who could have fallen here. Now the builds continue. With that, we're having the leeching scarabs now. Murky has stayed at the top lane, hasn't even committed to the fight here. And that's something that you will see a lot, that Murky players are just gonna focus on the side lane, trying to push them out and be annoying with that. And in the long run, that can actually win you the game too. Now we have 2 kills already against 0 in this game. We're having, in addition to that, a pretty solid setup actually for the red team. We haven't seen the new Junkrat actually in a lot of games just yet, but this is obviously after the big rework came through. We're also having at the same time still the cavalry, or at least the raiders, on the ground, which means that now the structures are slowly going to fall here. Artanis in this case also with a much more aggressive build than we usually see, even going for Seasoned Marksman on level 1, so wants more aggression with this. Solarite Reaper too, so much more focus on the damage output than anything else, and Bloody might actually pay for it already. He's getting attacked down here at the bottom. Abathur is attempting to help him out. Abathur should honestly get the hell out of there. Abathur needs to get really far away from this one, but they didn't want to dive the 4 too hard. Both of them survive. And up to the top, Junkrat still against Murky, but Murky gets eliminated. So yeah, Junkrat getting some value there as well. And Junkrat with this build going for the blow up, straight for the taste for explosion. So again, this is all played after the rework. And at the same time, we're having Abathur again at the bottom of the map, but could also try and push, for example, the mid lane out a little bit more aggressively with this now, with this symbiote. But he should also help out Murky. Now, the cool thing about the Abathur and Murky combo is that Murky himself, if he dies, it's not really a big deal for the opponent. So you are really faced with an opponent that does a lot of damage against you. That's Murky, first of all, of himself, but then also the symbiote of Abathur, which really packs a punch. And Murky can dive behind any fort like this pretty easily. And honestly, in this case, Jack Sully could have gotten a kill here. With the help of Abathur, that could have been a possible kill against Junkrat. But this is probably a play that we're going to see a little bit more often. And already they're starting to chase it. If Murky jumps in right now, that is a kill. If Murky jumps on him, that's a kill. He's already getting pushed out a little bit. Murky still not ready with the symbiote. Is currently sitting at the bottom of the map instead. But this is exactly the kind of plays that you want to make with the Murky Abathur composition. And if your opponent knows how to deal with it and really just like farms it out, has a good hero to counter it, it will be problematic for you in the long run to get value. But at the same time, you are going to annoy them a lot. It's really problematic. So now we're having the Blessed Momentum taken on level 7. We're also seeing with the heroic abilities the March of the Murlocs. And in addition to that, we're having the Purifier Beam. Now, Purifier Beam is already a horrible choice here from Bloody. Reason is, I mean, first of all, picking Artanis in the first place is just an atrocious choice. Artanis is just a bad hero compared to the alternatives that you could go for. And that's just the truth. So Artanis by himself might be a hero that is fun to play. He might be a little bit memey. But if you compare him to the alternatives that are available, then which you could pick instead, he is just in general bad. But right now, after Blizzard increased the movement speed of every single hero by 10% and didn't adjust the speed with which Purifier Beam, Ravenous Spirit and other talents travels, you have to kinda understand that this is actually a pretty bad talent to take, because unless you have a lot of stuns that you can use, your opponent will simply walk away from it. So with that said, there's a Purifier Beam already getting dodged here, but Murky is in the fight and goes down again. Abathur's already sitting at the bot, gets the copy in, and here comes the double Artanis as they're starting to jump in right there, trying to pressure the backline a little bit. ETC with the mosh pit connecting with 2, and in comes the Ring of Frost. Connect with 1, the Beetle down, and Anduin, the crybaby. Anduin is down too. And with that, already 3 against 1 trade, but we're having Murky coming back to business, obviously. Is already appearing at the egg towards the top, and they're now trying to go for the objective too. But the red team has done a pretty decent job so far. Down at the bottom of the map, we're having Black Milk again taking position where he can soak with the buddy a little bit more. And it's kind of surprising that the red team did not make an earlier play for the couple of remaining seconds that they need, because they had a huge advantage in heroes on the map. So they were definitely delayed on this one. But I like that we had the attempt at least to get the Mosh Pit plus the Ring of Frost connector, so that was a nice setup. 5 kills against 1. Like, when you look at the kill setup, the Shank squad is doing incredibly well right now. Definitely way better than the Face Palm Tacticians here. But they are still doing a lot of damage with Merc at the top lane. That's the problem with that. You can't really leave him alone there, so you need to have a good foreman in order to deal with that. Here comes again Junkrat. Murky is already on the case. Cocoon on the ground against ETC. Purifier Beam is coming in again. 0 value since Johannes simply walks away from it. Murky is down, and they're trying to go back into the battle as Bloody is re-engaging, but ETC is attempting to body block him right now. and is trying to throw him back here. Well, there's another ring of fail that didn't connect with anything. Anduin got a little bit caught in the middle though, and immediately gets burned down regardless. It's a little bit of an alternative build that Death Grip is going for here with his Jaina. We've seen this actually a few times now in the past, that people made some interesting choices here. Especially with the level 7 talent, the Ice Flows. So nothing that even remotely resembles a normal build outside of the level 1 talent choice that we're seeing here for him. But they're still trying to make the play here, and currently we have a death on every single side. Abathur at the bot lane gets a bit more experience for his team to give him a slight lead with level 13 talents in particular. Chaos is already on the run as Jack Sul is running him down. Abathur obviously helping out with that. Soma Transference should be the talent on level 13 for him at this point. We're having first of all the Burning Rage for Nubarak. And they're starting to take the objective here. It's a little bit surprising to me that the red team is not fighting back harder against this. Level 13, yes, the Soma Transference and also the Fish Tank now taken. So they're starting to jump in on it again. Yep, here's already the Cocoon on the ground against ETC. Again, the Artanis ult coming through. But it seems like the objective could very well go to the blue team after all. They have level 13 talents, that gives them a lead. They're starting to look for additional kills. And they are grabbing the objective. They're gonna get it. Yeah, Cavalry is gonna come down here. They looked really bad at the beginning in that team fight, and the red team had an easy opening as they took 3 of the opponent's heroes down to finally go for it and secure it, but they missed out on that chance, played it too safe, waited for the rest of the team to come back, and that now results in them actually losing out on the objective and therefore having to face the music right there. So with this, we're having at the top the fort already taken down. That's, by the way, more than the Shank squad could accomplish with the first objective they were able to gather. But at least it's level 13 talents. And gives us the ice barrier for Jaina. In addition to that, we're already having the potion of revival right here. So trying to go a little bit of an AoE heal. And again, the push through the middle. ETC is the one dealing with the top. And now one of the things that we have to also point out is that ETC didn't go for stage dive. That can actually become really impactful when you're going up against the Murky's, against an Abathur and Murky setup. But in this case, they were hoping to get more control during team fights with a mosh pit, but it definitely leaves you a little bit empty on the global scale, and that can be a problem later on. If not for that, ETC would be in a great position at the top to then later on jump into the fight. And all of the forts are, by the way, down, with the exception of the one of the bottom that Junkrat defended. Death Grip is getting away again from the Artanis ult. Value, as we already said, very diminished after the 10% movement speed increase. And already before that, it wasn't a fantastic ult by any means. Season Marksman on 28 stacks on the other hand. And currently, we're having still the setup here towards the top. Ring of Frost connecting with one. They're trying to go for it. Here comes already the Riptire and connects straight away with Artanis, but it's not enough. Sleep Baby just for another second. The Cocoon is on the ground. Malice gets also pushed back here, but they put additional damage onto the keep itself, so that's already a big win now for the Facepalm Tacticians. And at the same time, having camps already getting pinged. Now Black Milk could have done a little bit more here. He could have definitely moved down towards the bottom after, especially after Junkrat disappeared here. When you're looking at the experience setup in particular, Abathur still holds with 9,500, the high card here, so he did a great job with that. But Junkrat is sitting on 7,000 himself, so the difference between the two of them, it's not really as crazy as you would have probably imagined it to be. Murky is also very big on experience because for a long time he didn't even join the team in any single fight and was trying to go for that. But with this, we're now having also additional talents coming through in level 16, and the Beetle build continues. So again, normally the Locust Brood. Alright, fair enough. So so Abathur goes actually for the Locust Brood. Haven't seen that talent in a hot minute. Usually that's not picked anymore, simply because it doesn't really give you a whole lot of value, and the times where Abathur went into a full Locust build have been over for a long time here. So the builds are definitely very alternative that we're seeing in this game right now, especially when you're looking over to Nubarak, as I've already explained a little bit earlier. Not going for Epicenter on level 16 should actually be a federal crime. Like, there should actually be no discussion that this is a crime and needs to be punished by, by the person being apprehended, locked up, and being put in front of a judge. Like, that talent is just the go-to, even if you want to go for a Beetle build. But level 7 has its own rules, so in this case, they want to still play that out and see if they can maybe spawn a couple more summonings, but you will never get the same value that you can get with Epicenter, I can tell you that much. That value, on the other hand, is insane! What a combo! Get wrecked! An absolute disaster here for the blue team as ETC slides in from the side, gets the mosh pit, Jaina follows it up, and then we have Deckard, Kane, and Junkrat piling on top of it. Boy, 8 kills against 3. Murky comes in with the March of the Murlocs as they're trying to go for the objective. The Nubra goes for the Cocoon. Not quite sure why exactly. Murky actually down for a couple of seconds, but Anubrak is able to escape. Obviously Abathur's helping out here, and he nearly took down ETC. But they're about to get the objective. They're channeling it right now. 2 heroes are still down, and they need to make sure that they win this, because in structures, the red team is far behind. So at this point, there's the Ice Block on Jaina as they're trying to get the damage in. She also went for the Northern Exposure after initially taking Ice Flows on level 7. 16 talents are still not taken. Should be a little bit quicker on that, to be absolutely honest with you. They need those talents. The spread volley taken over the endless nades on the side of Junkrat, but it seems like the fight isn't quite over yet. And look at Murky. Murky together with Abathur. He's just basically a vessel for Abathur. That's pretty much what it is. And he's already getting the value here for exactly that. Here comes the attack again, and so far the objective hasn't been claimed by the red team. Going to be trying to. But, yep, actually they need to lock him down somehow. Stuns are fantastic against this. If you have stuns and a little bit of burst damage, you can do a whole lot with that. And in this case, they're going to try and take him down again. But it's just that nuisance factor that you have to deal with the entire time. What the red team needs to do, though, is finally pick their level 16 talents. I mean, normally you should pick that with a quick pick option. I mean, if you go for control and the number, you can quick pick it with a hotkey combination. But even outside of that, you need to be a little bit quicker trying to get the value from those talents. Talking about value, yep, that ult pretty much doesn't get anything done once more. But here's now the big play that they can potentially make. They can make the move right here, go straight in and reclaim the position of the prisoner camp. And Abathur, if you already go into Locust Brood, he should be way deeper in and try and get the keep destroyed at the top side. Mosh pit is in, there's the Riptire, Murky's immediately getting taken down. March of the Murlocs is still coming through though. There could maybe be a kill against Junkrat, but he survives barely. Artanis is dead, and they finally get the Junkrat kill in. The copy on Artanis is still working out for Black Milk. Now he gets destroyed, and he should move Abathur towards the keep right now. Abathur should literally just burrow towards the keep, drop the Locust, and then Hearthstone back. That would be the best movement for him. Easy time for him to escape, 0 threat for him, and he would get a lot of value out of it. But currently not doing any of that. Is trying to at least empower the push a little bit with his own symbiote before the cavalry comes down again. But this keep could have already eaten a lot more damage if he would have moved a little bit farther forward, empowered the entire minion wave by his Locust, and also dropped the level 16 talent right there. At the bottom of the map, ETC is in a bit of trouble, and you can just see the total cancer play that is Abathur and Murky in combo. It is honestly annoying to deal with. 50,000 damage from Artanis right now. Abathur is sitting at 42,000, and another fort is taken down. It's 10 kills against 4. You just have to put this into perspective for just a moment. We're looking at a setup in which the red team has taken 10 kills and the opponent has only achieved to take down 4 heroes, but the difference between them is an entire level, and structures destroyed everywhere on the map, with the top lane keep nearly being crippled now. The one in the middle is already down, and the one at the bot lane is getting attacked too. This is an absolute disaster here for the Shank squad. They're going up against a composition that is incredibly difficult to deal with if you don't coordinate your attacks properly, and if you don't meet those moves with a good response. Against the Murky setup, you want to have a good 4-man, and you want to make sure that you have one hero that just deals with Murky. And they currently don't have that. They're just running around. They're reacting more than they're putting in their own place. Now at least they get the kill against Artanis, but as you can tell, the top keep is pretty much eliminated. The one at the bottom is the only one still standing, and even that one is taking a beating as the Murlocs get released once again. Level 20 is going to be there soon, and with 2 keeps down, that's 2 armor shields already eliminated off the boss too. 12 kills against 4. And the red team is still behind. They could go for bosses at this point. But if they do, they have to actually commit to that with more than only a hero or 2. Yeah, defending the core is important, but you also don't need this many heroes to deal with the situation, since the core is obviously regenerating hit points as well. So he's currently just sitting there and starting to do the thing, whereas at the bottom of the map, well, ETC just realizes that together with Junkrat, he still won't be able to take a boss because the opponent has 2 heroes around. And especially Abathur on such a big map is a massive asset. He can push lanes out quite easily. He can help on the other side of the map. There's a reason why in HGC on every single big map, Abathur was usually banned out. And obviously this is not quite the same level of play. I mean, not by any means. You just need to look at the talent choices that were made here to realize that. But it is still pretty nasty. In this case, we're having Evolutionary Link even, instead of just simply going for the double symbiote, which should be the go-to always when you play Abathur. Cold Snap for the cooldown reduction now for Jaina, after she is getting her own level 20. But down here, as you can tell, the boss is getting attacked once more. And they need to deal with that. No Glyph of Faith, on the other hand, for Varian, instead, for Anduin, instead it's Varian's Legacy here. The big Tuna Kahuna is taken, and, well, time is actually working in the favor of the Face Palm Tacticians, and they're trying to go for the boss too. That's the only remaining lane where the red team still controls the keep, and is not under continuous pressure from catapults. So now we have again the little attack over here. Objective is being announced already. Abathur can still sit topside, which is in and of itself pretty impressive that nobody really sniffed him out so far. Coming back to the problem that ETC didn't go into stage dive. Granted, Moshpit gave them a really good combo earlier, but on a big map like that, if your opponent runs a global or a pseudo-global, you want to have something that you can at least respond with. Death Grip hasn't really found anything. Black Milk is moving back into the mid lane. Could have honestly gone down to the bottom of the map and already set himself up to attack the opponent's keep. Didn't really need to go to the middle, but played it super safe here. But here comes the objective again. That's another opportunity to get some value out of this. Murky is sitting at the bot lane and is just trying to force the opponent to react. And they react with 3 heroes, which means that the blue team has an easy shot now for the objective itself. And that's always what you have to do in these games. You have to look for an opportunity, and if you see your opponent defending with 3, 4, 5 heroes at the bottom of the map, you know you have a free shot on the remaining 2 lanes. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're going for the objective again. And honestly, if they capture this one, this is pretty much lights out. That would be game right here. So at this point, they're starting to go straight in for the keep. That one is likely going to fall. They realize that too. Keep down. Every single keep eliminated. And they are already late to the party over here at the prisoner camp. And Abathur can still use the copy. Murky is still rushing around, and Murky might even go for the core here. Together with Abathur, who is now pushing out the top lane, and has even dropped his... Did he drop? I think, yeah, he dropped his Locust there. Now we're having Murky going straight for it. And there's no armor talents anymore. There's no armor shields. There's no nothing. And that's a massive problem. Abathur should just help out here. But here comes Junkrat. And as soon as Junkrat is already identified, they can go for the fight again because they have a better position here. Yeah, Junkrat is there. Once again, Artanis and his ult. Johanna walking away from it pretty easily. 10% movement speed at Grease will do that. There's him trying to turn around here and get at least another condemned through, but Wader needs to be careful. Murky goes down against Junkrat as the core is down to half HP. Less than that, actually. Taking a massive amount of damage here. And if the blue team just moves in and goes for the auto attack, that thing's over. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're already moving in. Good Cocoon, just moving past ETC. Might have even been a little better on a different hero. But they're actually still going for the fight instead of just simply attacking the core here. In comes the Nubarak and starts attacking. Mosh Pit! And the Ring of Frost, and Anduin just disappears. The Turbo slides straight in against Artanis as they're looking for the next kill. He's trying to swap himself in. Not really working. Bloody with a little bit more damage, but he is going to fall as well. Bloody goes down. Artanis dead. 15 kills against 4. And they haven't taken down a single fort yet in this game. And obviously the core is regenerating, as we can see right here. Core's on Alterac Pass, always regenerating. That's exactly what's going on here. It's all about the objective again. But this game is not over yet. The red team is in a horrible spot. But maybe with the objective, they could be able to make a bit of a comeback. But Abathur is now taking the bottom position and is starting to push it in even further. And that means ETC has to actually deal with all of this. And again, he can't stage dive into the fight when need be. But they have the control, at least for now, over the prisoner camp. They need a lot more though. And Artanis is going to come back in 20 seconds. Here comes Murky again from the side. Is going straight for his ult. Drops the Murlocs. The march is on. And with that, he zones them out from the objective already. 30 seconds still needed for the Shank squad to get something done here. Everybody jumping in. And the ice block on Jaina saves her for just a second. Ring of Frost connects. And can they get the kill? It doesn't seem like it, but nearly the lockdown by Deckard Kane. Wow, that was actually close. And ETC has a lot of trouble defending this. I mean, ETC is sitting there and he's just doing his best. Murky is down over here. If Murky would have at any point just moved towards the core, that could have been it. Core is already regenerating again as we speak, but ETC is just trying to get the damage done against every single lane as the wave after wave after wave is just pushing in against it. And Nubarak is finally down, and that's maybe a chance for the red team to finally get an objective here and push these lanes back, and they definitely need it. God knows they do. But right now they are looking pretty better. They're trying to make their way in here. And it's a lot of pressure, especially since ETC is still fighting down here. There's the copy on Abathar as he's trying to move in against Johanna. And if someone dies here, then they are going to be in trouble. 13,000 HP at this point on the core. Once again, the attack. And Murky goes down again for another couple of seconds. But Junkrat is in trouble. And Junkrat falls. And the core is now under attack from two sides. Wader is low and might even die. Should still have the indestructible though. And is able to move away for now. No swap here. And the core still falling to 10,000 HP. The entire time, the raid boss value is being gotten, but here comes ETC, and they're going for the objective again, the blue team that is. Facepalm Tacticians with a lot of facepalming here, trying to somehow set something up. The Shank squad only reacting the entire game to the moves that are being made by the opponent, never really putting their own stamp onto the game, and you can't play Heroes of the Storm that reactionary in the long run. Murky now, attempting to make sure that they're getting the objective, and if they get this one, then it's definitely a game. It's probably even game before that happens, but yep, once that they have the cavalry, there's just no helping it anymore. The cavalry is in, but the core is falling. Abathar is doing his job, and this is going to be lights out in game number 1 as the Facepalm Tacticians take down the Shank squad on map number 1 in the best of 3 series in Division 7 here on Alterac Pass. Game number 2 in the series, and I don't even know what to say. We already had a MEEEAAAAT composition in game number 1, but what we're having here right now is definitely taking what? We are on 2 of the Spider Queen, and we have Black Milk on the Lost Vikings, Malice B on Anubarak again, Jack Sully on Samuro, we have Alderon on Anduin, and we have Bloody on Alarak. And over to the Shank squad side, Wade on Johanna, Succubus on Stukov, Joe on Tychus, Chaos actually on the Butcher, and Death Grip again on Jaina. This is the worst Vikings map that you could possibly imagine. They still go for it. Actually, it's actually not quite true. I guess when we're talking about some of the maps that are not really in the pool for any competitive setup, there are a couple of worse, one like Brax's Holdout. But going for Vikings here is an absolute abomination. And we have Olaf the Stout Taker on level 1 for the Vikings. It's a really tiny map, so Vikings don't really get a lot of value here. They excel on maps that are really big, because normally what you're trying to do is you're trying to control at least 2 lanes with the Vikings and gather experience, while a strong 4-man that you drafted for your team controls the remaining lane and is really putting the pressure on here. So it is really, really weird. And Nubarak is going into the same atrocious build apparently that we've seen previously. My word of advice would really be to go away from that build, or at least if you already want to go into a beetle build, which I honestly can tell you is a pretty bad build in the first place. But if you're set on playing a beetle build, at least make the adjustment on level 16 and go into Epicenter. It's going to give you much more versatility with this entire setup. And also don't YOLO your abilities out like he currently does, because the game just started and he's already out of mana. So in addition to the Vikings, we actually have, well, Beetles, and we have also Samuro, so it seems like this is a mass summoning build that they were trying to pull off. I feel there's a couple of more heroes that have summonings available to them. Rexas, for example, missing in this little test, but still. I can tell you one guy that's going to be very happy about this game, and that should be the Butcher. I mean, this is honestly a dream scenario that they're currently going up against. You're literally playing against the Vikings, so you should be able to get a lot of stacks. Murky would be kind of nice too against you, but at this point in time, this seems like a very good setup for the red team. And this is also a really small map. I mean, keep in mind, the red team pretty much won nearly every single team fight in the last game, or well, at least most of them, let's put it like that, maybe not every single one of them, but they were very solid in kills. Their problem was the macro control and trying to control the Murky and Abathar combination, which did not really work out for them. So right now, let's see what we're going to have in game number 2. This is a little bit more difficult to run on a macro level, so I think that the facepalm tacticians are going to have the work cut out for them here, especially given the composition that they used. I honestly don't know what the thought process behind that Vikings pick is. Like, that seems like such a brain fart on this map. You throw your opponent a little bit of a curveball. On another map I would have maybe understood it, but here it makes no sense. Quick kill against Anduin, and that's already 52 stacks for the Butcher, as he's going for more fresh meat. And he actually gets quite a bit here. So yeah, again, Vikings can actually be annoying on the lower level. We've even seen them in HGC every now and then, but only more or less from teams that were, well, where Hazorps played, because he's pretty good on that. But traditionally you want to have a big map where you can really create a lot of chaos with the Vikings and then also draft a strong format with it. It's a bit of a different build that we're seeing for Samuro here too. He actually went into the Way of the Wind and then won with the Wind after that. So a full focus into the Wind Walk for him right now, which is not really the norm here. So it's very much out of the box what they're saying, and pretty much everything he has out of the box. I mean, look at that Jaina build that we're now seeing for the second time again. We're having also on level 4 the Master Assassin for Tychus instead of him going into the bigger they are. Or I guess in this case, you could have actually gone straight up into in the rhythm if you really wanted to, considering that there's so much you can stack against. Butcher with 71 stacks is doing pretty well there too. But let's see. Right now, we're having level 4 talent still missing for Johanna. Yes, we are already on level 7. She should definitely make that choice soon. I mean, right now you have multiple options here. Basically everything centering around Condemn, since you obviously are looking for a lot of wave clear with this as well. Butcher could also start to move in against some of the Vikings again. Talking Vikings, level 4. It's a Sabotage. Explosive attack against structures. Initially there was actually something that drained ammunition from towers, but obviously those were taken away at some point. So I have zero idea what this build is supposed to be when it's done. But I can pretty much only tell you that every single build you see here, or nearly every single build, with very few exceptions, is very far from the norm. And that Vikings build so far looks like someone is rolling a dice every single time he hits a talent here. With level 7, we're having the Leeching Scarabs in play again. We're getting the Norse Force actually for the Vikings, not even spin to win or anything. The Red Whip Weavers are going to be descending here. And we have level 7 now on both sides, which actually should be triggering Johanna to finally take at least her level 4 talent. Because so far, Vader hasn't taken that either. Luke, I'm your father. It's more something like, Luke, can you pick my talents? Because apparently he's not capable of picking talent for some reason. He didn't pick the level 4 and he didn't pick the level 7. So this is actually getting a little bit like, yeah, more than a little bit frustrating. Web Weavers are getting attacked though. Johanna finally picking a level 4. There we go. Eternal Retaliation and Subdue. Alrighty. There we go. Now we're having that. Well, with that said, we're having up to the top. Chaos already sitting in. Trying to get a little bit done against Jaxalian, making sure that that Web Weaver gets at least some value. Alarak is the one defending the top lane, and the rest of the team is down at the bottom of the map, including every single one of the Vikings here. So with this, they're starting to push them back. Level 7 on both sides gives us now also the Growing Infestation, and who would have thought the same build for Jaina with Ice Flows on 7 as well. And they're actually getting some damage in. The Butcher is coming in, finds Bloody on Alarak, but the Web Weavers are all defeated, and now with still a lot of gems on the side of the blue team, they have a chance of turning in. And this is where you are more or less obligated to try and control the turning spots a little bit better. But thanks to them splitting on 3 lanes, the facepalm tacticians are actually now in a position where they are having even a lead in experience, despite the fact that their opponents hit the first objective. Now the Butcher is still only at 93 stacks. I really would love to see him pinned up against some of those Viking lanes a little bit more, at least roam and try and take some down. We have a single kill in this game, which is definitely not as much as you would think there's going to be with this taken. Yeah, Butcher is coming in again. They're trying to go for Alarak. He has 23 stacks. There's the silence, but they can't get the lockdown completely. And the Butcher's in trouble. Ooh, gets stunned and goes down. Butcher dead. And it might be more than that. Yes, Stukov dies too. And instead of hunting a couple of the Vikings down, the Butcher is currently engaged in a few fights that are really not beneficial for him. And the team is not really giving him too much pressure. Samuro going into the Blade Storm here. Okay. Vikings with a longboat. That makes a bit of sense, I guess. I mean, at this point, what does make sense here? There's the attempted kill against Tychus, and that nearly worked out, but this time the Blade Storm doesn't do enough for them. Level 10 abilities are in, and Jaxal is trying to pressure it with the Samuro clones even before we are having the Web Weavers descend. So the blue team is again ahead. They're already ahead in the series, and now they're taking a lead in experience, and might even be able to take a few additional structures down. Okay, with this we're now having, again, level 10 abilities at least on both sides. For the defense that is pretty big, and that gives us, amongst other things, the Lamb to the Slaughter, and we're having the Ring of Frost. A good combo between the two could mean a lot here. I still expect, though, to finally see the shield for Johanna. And Vader doesn't like talents. Vader, honestly, does not like talents at all. Here comes the setup again. 12 stacks for Alarak, by the way. Okay. And now with the 4 at the top, they have a chance to make a play here. Jaina's down at the bottom. That's, of course, one of the biggest burst damage that they have. And since Tychus hasn't made a rotation towards the top either, they're pretty much only present with a couple of melee heroes. Tychus is going to try and change that. They should definitely be able to defend here. I mean, in the worst case scenario, they would have to use Odin. So far, they are not even forced into that. So with this, we're now seeing the push back to the base, pretty much, or at least to the gate. It's a little bit of a slow game. Especially with Butcher and the setup that they have, with, I mean, Jaina behind it. I would have expected a few more attempts in the early game to get real damage in. And I really feel that it's a problem that the Butcher doesn't rotate more. If you want to get your stacks together quickly, especially with the Johanna setup, it would be so easy for you, or with Jaina, to just move between lanes, at least with the 4-man between the top and the mid lane, and then burn down the minion waves, get the stacks in for the Butcher outside of hero kills, and then see if you can pick up a hero every now and then. But they are not doing anything of that. We talked about rotations like this a lot when we were talking about Asmodan, and granted, the Butcher is definitely not on the same level here. It's not the same hero or anything, but it's this, from a principle's perspective at least, it is similar when you're playing on such a small map as Tomb of the Spider Queen. You can get a lot of value out of this. So with that, we're now having another turn in, and this time it's actually the blue team that has now delivered the second turn in a row. So we're looking at 2 kills against 1 in their favor, plus another Web Weaver wave coming down. Over here on the other side, no takedowns and therefore no stacks for the Master Assassin. Samuro is still pushing through. Vader is starting to push in and is starting to also work out now with the cooldown reduction that we have here. Butcher is coming in. Drops the ult on the Viking. Okay, fair enough. So the Viking is actually taken down, and that's obviously a couple of stacks. Butcher still needs to survive somehow, and they keep him alive. But I can't believe that he just dropped the ult on the Viking. I can only hope that was a misclick and that he was instead trying to go for Samuro. But either way, it didn't work out here. A normal talent for the Vikings. That's the first one that's actually standard. Goes for jump on level 13. So that's something definitely misclick. It must be. And with that, we're also now having the Blade of the Highlight. Oh, another attempt. Go for the Viking. And there's the jump. And gone. But again, 13 against 12. Level 13 talents on both sides in just a few seconds. And still the turn-in potential for the red team. And obviously, they're going to start looking more and more at trying to get a... Oh, actually, look at that. We're having Stormfront now taken. So apparently a little bit more of a Blizzard adaptation that we're seeing from Jaina now. Samuro is still going through the top lane here. This is honestly getting kind of nuts. They're just going for structures again the entire time. They're just figuring out, guys, we don't need to actually win team fights. We just need to take that core down. If we destroy structures, we are going to be in a good spot here. Tychus, in the meantime, is now taking also, that's the stuff here, for the minigun heals over the Neo Steel coating, which he could have gone for. Still 61 gems in the hands of the red team. And they could try and sneak in a turn in here. Well, so far, not quite. But they have taken the camp. And that is going to alleviate some of the pressure that they are experiencing, especially in the middle of the map right now. So that is going to help slightly. But outside of that, what else are we going to have? We have still the setup where they are trying to get some kills up at the top. And they're going for Vikings again with the ult. And they're getting that. And that actually means that we're going to have the Butcher soon with a completed quest. I mean, he's sitting at 176 right now. So I guess that's the objective for the time being, to bring him to 200 as fast as possible. But sacrificing the ult for Viking kill every single time, I'm not quite sure if that's really necessary here. Bladestorm was also sacrificed though. Here come the red Web Weavers. Yeah, they can get another kill here. If you charge him with a Butcher, honestly, and you follow up with a Johanna stun and also a silence from Stukov, you are in a pretty solid position to get a kill. No matter who it is, you don't have to just go for Vikings the entire time. That's actually Samuro walking away again, and he's pretty low. Web Weavers are in. Bit of a rotation into the middle at the same time now. There's another opportunity, and the Butcher is sitting at 186 stacks right now. Doesn't have a lot of damage, but again, he will never see a Butcher with tons of damage because it's a single target that really matters for him. Whereas most of the AoE damage dealers are normally a bit more beneficiaries to the damage numbers. Alright, so the rotation into the middle. Couldn't get anything up at the top. The fort at the bot lane at least is destroyed. Butcher at 191 stacks. And is looking for the next kill here. He's close. I mean, again, on 200, that's the first step. And it's 15 against 15. Personally, I'm just surprised that we have so few kills in this game up to this point. It's mostly Vikings kills that we've experienced so far, and even on that front, we haven't seen a whole lot. 16 is what they are both waiting for, and we have a turn-in opportunity for both teams. And it seems like we're going to have that turn-in right here. And they're going to make it happen. Yep, they're there in time. Wader needs to turn in too. I'm not quite sure if he's aware of that. Team is already pinging him, and they're like, dude, 60. It's 60. We literally have 60. Oh, there we go. Red Web Weaver's descending. Full hamstring build, by the way, for the Butcher, which is also a little bit odd. Brutal strike now taken. And with that, he's definitely going to get a little bit more damage on those other attacks. 16 talents are ready for the opponent, not quite for them yet. And with that, we're having again the Beetlejuice. Guys, epicenter, 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 epicenter. Okay, movement speed after the go-go. Wader is low. Ah, that Ring of Frost didn't do a whole lot. That Storm, on the other hand, is way better, and that's a completed talent. That's actually a little bit unfortunate. Could have given him 10 over damage if he would just had 2 more stacks and already completed it. But now that the Butcher has this one done, we can actually assume that they're going to play a bit more aggressive around him. Especially with 16 in. Should see the Enraged coming through now in a second. First of all, after we've already seen the Lingering Spines, this is Super Strain. Snowstorm is also in. It's nice against structures and also a little bit more. Yep, Enraged is in. And that's another fort. Yeah, taking it slowly, guys. 2 kills against 2. And let's see what else we're going to get with that. Yeah, Wader is coming up towards the top again. Yeah, but they could have been done with Butcher ults, or was already the Butcher quest so much quicker if Jojo or Jaina would have helped him out a little bit more, and if they rotated with the hero between the mid and the top lane. That's the traditional setup, actually. You have a 4-man that rotates between 2 lanes, and you have a solo lane at the bottom of the map. There have been deviations away from it, but it still works, especially if you're in a setup where you're trying to stack someone like Asmodan, like the Butcher. You don't have to babysit him the entire time, but especially in the early game, it definitely helps quite a lot. So now we're having them again with 16 against 17, turn in potential for the blue team. And this is where you can really start to fight this. That's a bit unfortunate. If he would have waited for the ult on the Butcher and they just dropped the Butcher ult, they could have taken that easily. They should have actually tried and do that. Drop the Butcher ult on someone, and then if Jaina gets the damage through, that talent combination is actually going to do something. That does, by the way, not make it good. There's definitely better talents to be taken here, don't get me wrong. There is a reason why meta exists. And if you want to play on a higher level and get better, then you should try and adjust to that, at least to an extent. But you can at least get something out of the build, despite the fact that it's not really a strong build to go for with Jaina. But obviously those Storm talents, especially looking at the level 16 talent, excel if you can put a target into a single place for a long time. And that's where stun chains come into play. And also the Butcher with the Lamb to the Slaughter. And they have quite a bit of that. Butcher at the bottom of the map gets completely isolated, though before anything happens, he goes down immediately. So that was a very unfortunate death for the Shank squad. But a good kill for the Facepalm Tacticians. Nicely done by them. And that should allow them to get the turn in now. There's at least an interrupt. I mean, they have a few. But they're currently trying to take that. Damage output at the same time. Would assume, yeah, Tigers is very high up. Alarak 2 with 52,000 here. And there's the turn in. Can they make the 2-0 happen? That's the question here. The Shank squad is definitely struggling a bit more than probably expected. They're just not coordinating these attacks properly. Again, I've been talking about this a little bit earlier. But if you actually set something up and you don't just YOLO abilities out the entire time, you have guaranteed kills as you enter the fight. It's actually impressive that they're able to get that double kill. It's also a bit of a misplay on the Facepalm Tacticians. That shouldn't happen. But if you're trying to go in with the Butcher and you have all of these abilities behind it, you should have an easy time in a lot of these team fights. I mean, you can lead with the Butcher, you can lead with the Blessed Shield, both of it works. Then either Johanna or the Butcher follow up, vice versa, depending on who initiates. And you have the massive amount of damage from Jaina. If you coordinate these attacks, that's a guaranteed kill as you're entering the fight, pretty much. So that's something that still they should do and need to do in these particular battles. I mean, right now, we're having, again, even a move towards the boss here. Johanna actually showed. I mean, Johanna actually showed, yeah. Granted, there's 2 heroes dead, but in this case, you don't want to show on the map for no reason. The opponent is going to turn in and trading one... Well, actually, are they? It seems like they're not. I was expecting Sully to also turn in his own gems and trade the boss for Web Weaver wave so that they can defend properly. Seems like he's not doing that, or is pretty late to that party. And yeah, still gonna do it eventually. So there they go. Objective comes in and they turn in. Pretty common move. It pretty much allows you to defend against the boss without any problem whatsoever. You sacrifice one objective and then you get a free defense against that. So that's one of the things that usually you try and get out of this one. Down to the bottom, Black Milkslick having all of the 3 Vikings together. And it's insane to me that the Butcher hasn't farmed those Vikings a little bit more than he could have. Especially with a bit of an assist. So they're defending easily, of course, now against the Web Weavers. I mean, that's the first objective and the first goal for them. Level 20 talents are then in, and with level 20, the Butcher is obviously going to get even more value because he's going to look at the Slaughterhouse. I mean, hopefully. It's Division 7 after all. We're not quite sure what's going to happen. But it can be assumed. It can be assumed. Yeah, the out-of-nowhere Bladestorm that did nothing but tickle Tigers a little bit. Cold Snap for the cooldown reduction again for Jaina. And nobody is seemingly... Oh no, not again! Crypt Weave! Haven't we learned our lesson? Seriously? Dude, you have Rewind on level 20. Go for Rewind. Crypt Weave is a bad talent. Slaughterhouse is in, by the way. And we go. Johanna in this case going for the Blinded by the Light. Butcher with the Slaughterhouse. Too late though. Doesn't drop it right away. And now Alarak dies and he still doesn't get those stacks. Yep, Butcher again a little bit too far out. Johanna should have actually leading the charge. But they're still getting the kills. They're losing Jaina right now. But also Anduin is eliminated. It's kind of crazy. He's at 200 stacks. That is insane. You're up against a team that is running the Vikings and you have a setup that should instantly allow you to get multiple wombos off and take your opponent down a peg. And the Butcher dies nearly every single fight and doesn't have like he doesn't have a single meat stack above 200. That is kind of insane. I mean, right now we're having Jack Sully actually getting attacked. There's a silence attempt, but that's not quite working out. 2 down still on both sides. Soon, now actually, we're gonna have, or we have now, the amount that they need to get another Web Weaver in. Yeah, which would actually put them even with their opponent. So that's one of the things. But Tigers has still not taken his big red button. What else are you gonna take, dude? Go big red button. You're not gonna go bob and weave here, so it's like, what are we gonna do? Big red button still not taken. Cooldown is ready in another 5. There we have it. Alright, level 20 is in play. But now I really want to see how much they can get out of this fight. We're already 20 minutes into this game, so objectives are obviously, or at least the catapults are starting to really get some serious value. There's only a single fort that is still around. That's the one at the top. Doesn't look too healthy, but it's there. Yeah, they're already starting to move in. And what we really need to see is an engagement by Johanna, Blessed Shield, then the Slaughterhouse being dropped by the Butcher and just unfolding all of the damage onto the target, unleashing all of what they have here and the abilities, and it should be an easy battle for them. Anduin is more so the question than what he's gonna do, but he has the light bomb in this case. So yeah, Alarak with this also has now the deadly charge. That could be good. Anduin dead, and there we go. Double kill. That's 220 stacks. Once again, Samuro trying to make a couple of plays here. He actually went into the Wind Strider, very heavily speccing into the Windwalk in this game, and I don't really think it's necessarily the best build for him. Not by any means, but now we're looking at a setup where the keep is down. The Vikings are at the other side of the map, finally moving back, but it might already been too late, because now the core is getting attacked and we have big red button just now expiring. They're all stacking, but the Butcher is just chopping away. That core is going down. The Vikings with the longbow right here. They turn it around against the Nubarak, and that's another kill. Another kill and another set of stacks. At this point, they're looking at 230. And this is game, ladies and gentlemen. The Butcher victorious in game 2, and that brings us to game number 3 between the Facepalm Tacticians and the Shank Squad. Game number 3. The fiesta continues, ladies and gentlemen. The Facepalm Tacticians against the Shank Squad, and on the left side on our final map in the best of 3 series in Division 7, we have the blue team with Black Milk on Khaldor this time, Malice B on Diva, Jack Sully on Mephisto, so double mage build off the bat already, Alderon on Anduin, and Bloody on Thrall. With the Shank Squad playing Wade on Arthurs, Succubus on Stukov again, Joe on Varian, we have Chaos on Falstad, and Death Grip on Jaina. So in theory, it is actually a setup that allows you to lock down an opponent and then drop the burst damage on that opponent to get a quick kill. In theory, not a bad choice. In practice, I haven't really seen a lot of coordination on that team, so I'm very skeptical if it works out. But in theory, you go for taunt, you jump in, taunt the target, Stukov goes in, drops the silence on the ground. If you have Arthurs around, he drops the Howling Blast after it, and you use Jaina to just burn the target to death. So that's the theory behind it, and that should actually net them quite a fair amount of kills, but we'll see how it actually works out here. Then again, you also have Diva on the other side, so let's see how that's working out. Rushdown is the first talent that we're going to get taken here. Cooldown reduction, and High King's Quest. That's leaving you a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth, because I think I'm about to throw up here. This is normally an indication that we're going to get either Smash or the Meme Blades on level 4, and well, as any player worth his salt in Heroes of the Storm knows, it's all about the taunt. Falstad actually going into the Season Marksman, old school build pretty much, not so much what you see these days, because it's more so about the Wingman right now. That has taken over as the dominant build on Falstad. But you can still go for the auto attacks here, so we'll see how much value he's going to get out of this in the long run. The only request that I really have is please don't go secret weapon. Please, please, please. I finally want to have a Falstad in my games with a brain. A Falstad that actually knows how to do a little bit of math and realizes quickly what the big value is that he has in the game, or that the big value that he has in any game is actually his global, and that Boomerang is just always better for the wave clear, for the lane pressure, for the side lane pressure, for the global value, and also for the damage output. Just please give me that. So I still have hopes. Down at the bottom of the map, Varian is doing his thing against Bloody right now. We obviously are still very early in the game. And Failstat goes down! After getting the... I mean, that seems a little bit like he suicided to take the mech down. What? Did he just suicide to take the mech down? Did that just happen? I'm not so sure. It's not really worth it, dude. So, well, with that said... Please go taunt. Please go taunt. Please go taunt. Please! Do it for daddy! He's taunting me. Is that a sign? Is that a sign? Varian is taunting me. That has to be a sign. Varian goes in and doesn't do anything. Still no talent. Come on! There we go! That a boy. Alright, now they need Jaina. Now get... Come on, boys. Varian, Stukov, Jaina. That's the setup. That's the setup. You can push other ones on top of that too, but that's the one that you can go for. Varian, Stukov, Jaina. You can make it happen. I believe in you. I believe in you. You are the chosen ones. The ones that can all of a sudden go for a combo in Division 7. It can become reality. That could have been a taunt. Okay, Varian doesn't care. Varian doesn't want to get a kill. Ah, but Jaina is here. This is now the setup. Arthurs is already there, so together with Jaina he's forming Team Frost. Falstad is standing at the top line. Yeah, there it is. He taunts Anduin, and Stukov drops the silence on on the Varian and not on Anduin. Okay, that didn't work out. Let's try again. Let's try again. Combo's back up. Combo's back up. We can go for it again. Yeah, now we're talking. And where's the Jaina damage when you need it? It isn't there. Exactly. There we have it, but it's still not enough. Okay, that was an easy kill for them, but they didn't take it. But at least, I mean, at least they tried. They tried, so you can see there is the will is there. There's a will to execute a combo, so that it works. Let's see if they can put it off again. They still have everything there. Why not taunt against Mephisto? Taunt Mephisto. Everybody's low. Falstad wants him, and Falstad gets Khaldor. 29 against 25. Guys, the red team has a chance there. The taunt against D.Va, I'm not quite sure why you would do that if you can go for Mephisto instead, but hey, by any means. Yeah, there's Arthur's pushing them out. Taunt ready in another couple of seconds, and we have another opportunity. Level 7 talents are in their hands too. They try to play it fair by not picking them. Ice flows again. Where's my taunt when I need it? There's my taunt when I need it, and Stukov is, yeah, throwing those silences out a little bit too quickly. Now again, if you're watching this and you're actually like thinking about playing an amateur scene yourself, the biggest, honestly, the best advice that I can give you is play quick match and choose your heroes before that, and go into setups like pick a variant, for example, pick a Stukov, pick a Jaina, if those are the heroes that you want to play, and practice the combo. If people just throw their abilities out before the combo is executed or started, then it means that once... What the fuck is that? That was apparently a bot play. Like, what the hell just happened? YOLO! Oh god, okay. At least he picked Boomerang, at least he picked Boomerang. But coming back to my point. So, if you want to play in an amateur scene, practice with just meeting up with 2-3 of the players and then practice those combos. Because if players just throw out their abilities without waiting for the combo, it means that once the combo is ready and you want to execute it, you don't have the abilities there. So you're just double checking with your teammates all the time if you can execute. You tell them that you're waiting to see if you can taunt a target, for example, and then you just execute this. Varian jumps in, he starts the taunt, the silence follows, and the Jaina damages there immediately. They should have a ton of kills already against some of these mages. Mages, by definition, are just squishy. So if you have an opportunity where you can go for that, you will get a lot of kills with this. So that's a big opportunity for the Shank squad right now, and they should shank them into oblivion here. So just get the team together and then make those plays. And that's another opportunity. They could have gotten a kill against Khaldor or Mephisto if they would go for him. Just here. Just charge in, get that taunt in, the silence comes and the damage is there. They had all the tools there. All the puzzle pieces were in play, and they just completely ignored that kill opportunity. So this is like the 5th or 6th time that they just let a kill walk past them. I mean, Khaldor literally flanked them solo. Like, that is a guaranteed kill right there. Froststorm, by the way, I haven't seen that talent in a hot minute on level 7. And to win, you are not passing through that gate, no. But level 10 abilities are now there. And with level 10, we're now having, again, the Ring of Frost. So Jaina is sticking true to the build that she's been using so far. A little bit damage here. Falstad trying to get away, and he will be able to escape. The rest of the team is still sitting in the mid lane, though. And they have an opportunity to maybe get something done here. Where's the taunt? Again, the same thing. You have everything here that you need. There's a taunt, and they lose Falstad instead because, well, they didn't go on the same target. Jaina wasn't there either, but even without Jaina, they should have been able to get that kill. Yeah, they need to be a little bit quicker on that execution. That is... again, if you want to get better, that's really what you need to do here. Ring of Frost connecting with 2, and they get the kill against Thrall. No taunt. There's the taunt finally, but it's a little bit too late. And Stukov didn't follow up on it either. When those fights start, it's just chaos that erupts everywhere. And that's one of the things that you need to control in Heroes of the Storm. Control the chaos as much as you possibly can. Falstad, by the way, also went into the Hinterland Blast. So that in and of itself, a little bit problematic here, but there's a lot of poke damage now obviously on both sides available. Yeah, Shrine is active towards the top. Nobody really caring about it just yet. Falstad actually in this case has apparently not used the boomerang properly, or he should have been able to burn that down much faster than that. Okay, and Falstad is dead. Yeah, that's a kill. You are kidding. And then the RNG was with them. Okay, nice. What a game. 4 kills against 4. It's the final map, guys. It is the final map. So yeah, they're starting to move in right now. Okay, there's the setup again. Mech is down. There's the silence. Where's my damage? They go for it, or try to drop it at least. Varian goes in, and okay, there's a taunt, doesn't have to cool down, and the Ring of Frost connects regardless. Yeah, but it's Arthur that goes down, and here's the Mephisto kill. Alright, a little bit more chaotic than it needed to be, but they get the kills in. Falstad is now coming back too. Varian commits Sudoku. jumps in immediately, says like, I hate my life, and I can totally understand. But yep, that was a quick kill against him. And now we are looking at a 4 versus 3 on the map. They still have a lot of damage, and they also have the support, so they might be able to make a play. Thrall with a random the zoning earthquake. Puts the earthquake down to zone them out from the shrine, which, I mean, granted, was successful, but I don't really think he needed to be worried about that, since it's a 4 versus 3 anyways. The camp is actually getting value against the fort at the top lane. That's the first time that a shaman camp did that while the top shrine was active. And we're having them taking over the position again. 5 versus 5. We're back, boys. Varian is going to come in, and Varian can try and get the kill against one of the mages together with Jaina. Varian could go for it. There's the potential kill against Jaxali. They don't want it. Instead, he's taunting D.Va. Why would you taunt D.Va? But at least there's the kill against Khaldor, as Jaina says, okay, I'm going to get at least some value here. They get another one. This time D.Va is actually dead. Jaxali wants to die, and they are happy to oblige. But the Arcane Punisher has still been grabbed by the facepalm tactics. Yeah, and now they have to take that one down. It should easily be able for them. So Fawcett should actually go down to the bot lane right now and get some value there, which is what he's currently doing. It's actually what he's currently doing here. Okay. The facepalms are real. I mean, the facepalm tacticians are called facepalm tacticians for a reason. One of the reasons why they have a continuous headache is because they're facepalming so hard. If you're experiencing the same right now back home at your screen, then that is probably the same reason. But with that said, Falstad is actually getting global value, and I'm positively impressed by this. This is actually nicely done. Top lane, Falstad, okay, with the Giant Killer, continues with the same build here. Shattered Armor is taken. I mean, even another reason why you want to go and follow up on a taunt, so that you can take someone down. Personally, I would have liked the Virulent Reaction on level 13, but well, Lingering Spines, we're going to see how much they're going to get out of that. If they just combo their builds, that's all that they need to do there. Falstad, the bird, gets completely wrecked. That's also what happens if you don't have a Mighty Gust available. You become a little bit of a damage dealer. Ring of Frost randomly thrown out, doesn't hit anything. Ring of Fail detected, but Alderaan goes down as he eats the damage on his Anduin setup, and then Varian comes in and delivers the final blow straight to the face. There's another taunt, and that's at least a counter kill. They get one counter kill, and they can go for Mephisto. They're already trying to walk him down here, and here comes the damage from Jaina. Jaxali comes in, bomb doesn't do a whole lot. There's the army already used on the retreat as they're trying to maybe even turn it again against Mephisto. Not so fast though. They're still there. No Howling Blast this time. No Howling Blast. That's actually one of the few D.Va bombs that we've seen in this game. Right now the Mortal Strike is being connected. There's the setup against Jaxali, but Mephisto survives. 10 kills against 8. 10 kills against 8, everybody. 26 on Falstad, that's the damage output. Highest damage for them, which is kind of insane. 40,000 for Mephisto, 35,000 for Khaldor, and 38,000 for Thrall. When it comes to damage, the blue team is definitely looking a lot stronger than the red team right now. Alright, there's at least a bit of a damage output that we have over there from Falstad as he's getting his damage in. Camps are taken on the map, especially down here at the bottom. Getting a little bit more out of this. The fort still attacked the top. And we, by the way, have not seen a single fort fall. Falstad at the same time is going into the Crippling Hammer. Still not a fan of that talent either. Afterburner would have been a lot better for him there. But still, regardless, he still has that slow. So let's see if they can capitalize on that. It's not that they need a lot of slow. They have Arthas and they have Jaina. How are they going to get a lot more slow in? There's the setup. Not quite how you want to get the kill, but there was at least 2 parts of the combo that were executed quite nicely, and I like that. I really can appreciate that. So at least we're having the Varian and the Jaina part down. Now Stukov just needs to follow up a little bit quicker on those. 16 talents and a kill. That means that they should get the lead on the shrine. And in this case, I actually want them to jump on Anduin. Anduin should again be attacked here. Like, why is there no follow-up? The whole... They go for the camp at the top, which in general I can appreciate, but still, they could have gotten additional kills here. So they get the camp, that's good. Now they should still make sure that they make the quick play for the shrine. Falstad actually flying down incredibly quickly. I would have left him at the top lane a little bit longer to push this wave out and maybe even the next before he flies back down. So him flying to the bot lane this quickly doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You want to get more value out of their global. So in this case, Arthas is zoning the side here. But this is now an opportunity for them to maybe make the play. It's 16 versus 16. With that, we're now also having the power of Ice Crown. Yeah, there's a potential hinterland blast. Can they get maybe a taunt? Oh, the kill potentially gets Arthas. He's completely left alone. The entire team leaves Arthas alone to die. And now we're having the bunny hop coming in. Hobbity hop. Yeah, she hops through. Thrall survives as Varian falls. Triple kill against the red team. The Shank squad just got shanked. They're going to get some value at the top side from the camp. So despite the fact that Falster didn't stick around as long as he could have, they are still getting at least a little bit of value out of it. But they're losing the objective at the bottom of the map again. That Mortar Punisher is, well, in the hands of the blue team now. And they can't do anything about that. So, yep, that one's done. And there's a camp of chaos taken together with that, which means that they can easily now move down to the bottom of the map to get a little bit more value with this little combo. Having both of those in. And that means it's an easy fort, and they could even get more out of this if they play their cards correctly. Maybe even a keep, if they get another kill or two. And in terms of kills, 11 against 12. It's getting closer. Nicely baited over the wall. That's actually nice. It's good to see here in Division 7 that the teams are starting to bait those more reliably over the wall, which is exactly what they should do. Falstad is sitting at the side. So is, by the way, Thrall, who's now starting to come in. But Falstad needs to be careful here. They're burning that down quickly. And they're going to save that keep. At least it seems like they can. They're trying to. The attack against Varian, who could now turn it around against... Yep, there's the taunt. Where's the damage? Where's the damage when you need it? Ring of Frost way too far away, but even though it's late, the Blizzard comes in and gets some value. Falstad already moving in the middle of the map, just realizing, okay, the boys don't need me. Let's go straight in and take down another fort here. So that's pretty much trading a fort versus a fort. Already the ping to signal Falstad, buddy, get out of there. He's going to get the experience topside. So that at least worked out for them. So now we have 31,000 damage for him, 30,000 for Jaina, 30,000 for Arthas, and 51,000 for Mephisto. Yeah, 13 kills against 11. But I gotta say, again, the red team should be way more decisive about the way that they are setting these kills up. And especially the Varian and Jaina combo with this particular setup needs to get kills more quickly. That's a kill. That is a kill. That is a kill. Jaina should have been there a long time ago. Where's the ult when you need it? Where's the Blizzard when you need it? Where is anything when you need it? Big problem for them here. This was a kill. Mephisto just suicided. If you get a present like this, you don't just sit there and say like, I don't really know if I need that. Can I give that back? Do you have the receipt? No, you just take it. You just take the kill and you drop them down. So now towards the middle, we're at least getting a bit more value there. Falstad could move again to the top if you wanted to. But Falstad can, by the way, make the same play. Hinterland Blast is not really a good choice here, but if you already go into that, if you go for a taunt, you can still set that up. Alright. Another setup over here. Looking for the camp, maybe. Falstad and Arthas are at the bottom. There's the taunt. There's the damage. Now we're talking. Look at that. It's working out. Yeah, that's the kills that we need. 8 seconds and you can make the same play again. They still have Falstad. Here comes the level 20 and that gives us the cold snap again. Where is that jump? There we go. Mephisto and he's dead. Ring of Frost, YOLO'd out. Didn't do a lot. Could have gone into another one. Quest completed for Falstad as well. And there we go. Those are the combos that you need to execute. And now they can go for another kill. They can easily take Black Milk down too. At least they should be able to. For some reason, Jaina doesn't want to fight there, and they actually sacrifice Arthas. Guys, this was a 5 versus 3, and they just lost the hero. And they can still turn it against him. They can still turn it against these guys, easily. It's 4 versus 3. They still have Arthas ult ready. Could have done that, but they also picked their heroic abilities too late. The level 20s. Alright. So with that, Jaina currently getting a little bit more in. And Jaina, she just needs to burn those down a lot quicker. That needs to be way more decisive. But again, they're getting there. They're at least having some of these setups. Varian is getting the setups for the team. The rest is starting to follow up a little bit. But this needs to be more decisive if you want to take this. Outside of me just off my eyes bleeding, I gotta say, this is at least close. I mean, this is kind of entertaining series, to be honest with you. Back and forth the entire time, both of them on level 20. You never know what happens. I'm not quite sure if that's a good thing or not. Demoralizing Shout and the Epic Mount have been taken. And there's a little bit more pressure at the bottom of the map. That's obviously additional stacks for Falstad too, which is going to help him in the long run with the damage output. Yeah, flying up towards the top now. And again, we need the taunt set up once more. And now we're having the unspeakable horror. There's Varian. Varian is just now making his way back. Coming back from the Nexus here after his little death. And Thrall wants to die. Thrall actually at the front. Again, Howling Blast into stun and he's dead. Thrall can be... You can burn down any hero outside of D.Va super quickly with this setup. Any hero. You pick the hero and you burn him down. Pick the hero and burn him down outside of D.Va. There's Thrall. He wants to die. Yeah, that's another one. That could be a kill. That is a kill. Nice. But again, they're not able to get anything out of these taunts. Okay, Arthur's down, Anduin down, and Khaldor down too. And now Bloody is left. That's an easy kill against him here. And for some reason they don't take it. They are focusing their attention on the D.Va. They have way enough time to go for the objective here. Okay. Down to the bottom or the middle of the map. That's of course good pressure against the keep. If they actually connect it, and I guess eventually they will. He wants to die. He seriously wants to die. Look at this guy. He's sitting there. He really wants to die. What are you doing? Just move down. Taunt him. You have Taunt and Howling Blast. Just kill him. Oh. Oh, this is kind of insane. Again, you don't want to chase. You don't want to overchase heroes. Don't get me wrong. You don't want to overchase heroes. But if someone really presents themselves on a silver platter right in front of you, then just say, okay, thank you very much, and just drop him. Okay. Talking about dropping things, they're dropping the game right now. Well, there's the jump onto Thrall. In an ideal scenario, someone would have been ready here to go for him. If the small gate is already open, you want to go for that. I'm a little bit baffled why Falstad thinks he needs to go for a camp right now when he could also take the keep in the middle or push the bot lane or just help the team over here, but that's just happening. So now they're making that attempt. Falstad is just trying to get some side lane value apparently. 18 kills against 13 is giving them a big lead, but you really want to get keeps now. You really want to get keeps with this. So yeah, up at the top, they're still fighting for this one. There's the taunt, and as I said, there's the damage, and that should be a kill. Nope, blinks away because Arthur's doesn't go for it. Arthur's could have easily helped out, locked them down, and turn around there. But the keep is down. Falstad is finally moving into the middle and is taking the second keep down. So now we have double keep pressure against the blue team. There's the bunny orb and the kill against Varian. I honestly don't know if these guys are on voice comms, but they need to talk a little bit more about what's going on there. Red team should have won ages ago. Falstad has now also claimed the bottom of the map, but they need to 5-man this a lot more now. Because Stukov is down, and with 3 heroes dead, there's comeback potential for your opponent, like, all the time. So now you want to take the camps at least, in the meantime. Maybe take the walls down here, and then take it from there. 55,000 damage on Jaina. We're having also 80,000 on Thrall nearly, 68,000 on Mephisto, 69,000 of Khaldor. And those two in particular need just to die whenever they move out too far. That's really where Varian comes through. Okay. Falstad. Dude, you want to fly. Barrel roll and fly. 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 They don't have an interrupt. Fly. 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 Just fly. Why? Why? I don't think he had cooldown. I mean, I think the cooldown was ready. Like, he has Epic Mount. Cooldown should have been ready. Yeah. Staggered deaths are honestly the thing that can lose you the game here. Like, again, I've been talking a lot about the blue team and what the red team and what they are doing because I think they have the cleanest path to a combo. But that doesn't mean that the blue team is out of this game just because they lost 2 keeps. We are in such a Fiesta setup right now that you can always take this. And this team has damage output. If you go at any point into a setup with the blue team where they are just starting to just YOLO damage and capitalize on these mistakes and missed opportunities from the red team, they can definitely get a kill. Especially getting solo kills like this one and stagger them, that is insane. That's fantastic. So they obviously have now a tough time defending every single lane out there against the catapults, especially since we're 23 minutes into this one. But yeah, Falstad is also sitting on 55 stacks on his level 1, by the way, so he's really starting to hurt with the auto attacks too. Falstad also flying straight up to the top lane. Okay. He's gonna try and burn this down. Was taken a little bit too early. Shrine is announced. Hey, you don't want to fight a 4 versus 5. Falstad just used this global. You don't want to fight here. You really don't want to fight here. Arthas is getting heavily attacked. Anti-magic shell actually did wonders for him in that last engage. Falstad is starting to come back in. Ah, the shaft on the D.Va explosion. What a god. And there's the snipe against Thrall. And now they need to just absolutely wipe them here. That's a kill against Mephisto. That's fantastic. And they should try and look for more here. Wader, does he get a heal? He gets a heal. You get a heal. You get a heal. Everybody gets a heal. Stukov is playing Oprah. And there's going to be a taunt in just a few seconds. But Anduin is still rushing around a little bit. Okay. Falstad could literally fly and kill someone. I think he has a cooldown ready. Playing it safe. With another kill, they could have gone for the core directly. I think as they are not able to get a third kill, this isn't necessarily a bad choice. Going for the objective and then ending with that, that's fine. So, yeah, 59 stacks also for the bird. Honestly, if they wanted, they could maybe even try to just go to the bot lane and attack the keep and force something here. It's a risky move. If you want to YOLO it, you can. Force them back and cause a little bit of chaos. Either way, it buys you a little bit more time. You can use D.Va to escape, I suppose, if she has everything up. But yeah, Mortar Punisher is in, and that should be honestly that needs to be a game move. You need to really go for that core now. And for the blue team, they need to try and kill someone as quickly as they can here. That's the only chance that they had. Kill them quickly, take them down as soon as you can, force the fight there, Thrall has Earthquake in 2. But that maybe bait the Punisher a little bit, but it's tricky to do that. And here they go. Earthquake already being used. They're starting to make the play. Here comes the ult. And, well, Mephisto doesn't do a whole lot here. Mephisto, not really a lot of value. Shield is already falling. This isn't looking pretty. The Shank squad may be able to take 2 games in a row here. The bird about to fall, but kept alive and turns around with the kill attempt. Here comes the explosion from D.Va, but the core is down to 55% right now. And that Punisher is still at 50 himself, is still shredding away. Core is falling. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is potentially game as we have the Shank squad victorious in the best of 3 series against the Facepalm Tacticians in Division 7. GG and well played.